Another royal wedding is just around the corner. On Monday, we woke up to the news that Prince Harry, currently fifth in line for the throne, was engaged to an American actress, Meghan Markle. My reaction? Nice for them, as I returned to deleting old emails. But ever since, new royal wedding tidbits have been showing up as every third post or so on my social media feeds. And my newsroom colleagues can't seem to go more than a few minutes without talking about it. The wedding's in May, they tell me, at Windsor Castle they had, and the ring, the surrounding stones coming from Diana's personal collection. It's an obsession I just can't seem to wrap my head around, so I've asked two people I admire greatly to come and explain what I'm missing. One of them is the British Consul General to New England, Harriet. It's great to see you. Thank you for being here. Rebecca Eaton, executive producer of PBS Masterpiece, including a couple of series you may have heard of recently, Downton Abbey and Sherlock. Rebecca, it's great to see you. Is something wrong with me that I have absolutely no, I haven't finished yet. Oh, sorry. Absolutely no interest in this Harry and Meghan thing. What am I missing?
Well, first of all, you're lying. Probably.
That I really do?
Yes, because we're here.
That's a very fine point.
You're doing a show about it. And also, I happen to know you're kind of obsessed with Sherlock.
I am totally obsessed with Sherlock.
And Sherlock is British. And then it's not that far a leap from a young, handsome man named Benedict Cumberbatch playing Sherlock Holmes to, what's his name, Harry.
So I'm just not in touch with my own feelings.
No, you have to go deep.
Okay, let's assume she's not right for the moment. Is the obsession or the fascination on this side of the ocean because of who Harry is marrying, a biracial, divorced, Catholic political activist, or that he's marrying anybody? If he married anybody, would there be this level of excitement? What is it?
Yeah, I think there would be a level of excitement. I think it's much higher because he's marrying an American woman. I think she's an interesting woman with an interesting background, and I think that definitely piques people's interest.
Does it do? What does it do for you? Are you allowed to tell the truth? Are you like wildly excited about this thing, Consul General?
I'm personally not wildly excited, and that's partly because I think these are private individuals to a certain extent, and I think it's a little. I think people do need to hold back a little bit because they need to have private lives. So I think that's one thing to bear in mind. But what fascinates me is the institution of the royal family. This is a corporation that's been around for, many hundreds of years, thousands of years. It's a successful business in some ways. I think that is really interesting.
She's the richest woman in the world.
A richest woman who 5 years ago applied for low-income fuel assistance to heat the castle.
So I think Harry, one of the fascinations with this story is that Harry is making up for a great tragedy in the life of one of his ancestors, not his mother.
Oh, which one?
King Edward VIII, who was not allowed to marry or become...
Wallis Simpson.
Wallis Simpson. So here we have an American woman, a divorced woman, and a biracial woman, and she's also an actress, which is just the frosting on the cake. Now there are no standards anymore.
Speaking of someone who knows a little bit about TV, I read something great today. I feel horrible. I can't remember the woman's name, who said one of the reasons this is huge is because it's a forerunner to reality TV. People who are famous for who they are rather than for what they've done. Do you buy that?
Yes and no. First of all, we used to hate royalty in this country, as you may remember in 1776. Remember that?
Like it was yesterday.
Like it was yesterday. We hated royalty. Forgive me. And we broke with them. Yes. Then we didn't pay much attention to them until Queen Victoria. It got kind of boring in there. And then Queen Victoria made kind of a domestic reality show herself. She had 9 children. She had a husband she loved. She loved sex. You can watch this, by the way, on Masterpiece in a series which comes on in January. But I do think that's when the royal family became a celebrity thing.
Can you explain a couple of things to me? First of all, she has called Donald Trump a misogynist. She's not going to be able to say that anymore. Once they married, she being Meghan Markle, has called Donald Trump a misogynist. You can't do that when you're married to a prince, can you?
I think she will have to have more of a private life than she has at the moment. But I think this is the interesting point about you comparing it to reality TV. Yeah. It's very much not reality TV.
Why?
And I think this is part of the mystique of the royal family because there is privacy around them. We don't hear their inner thoughts every day on Twitter.
That's a very fine point.
And I think that's partly why people are fascinated.
Speaking of people, a lot of Brits, when this relationship began, this does interest me. There was a lot in the tabloids, a lot of talk about the fact, they weren't crazy about the fact that Harry was connected to a biracial woman. Is that dissipated, or is there still that certain level of that upset about him marrying a person who's half black?
I don't get the sense that there's that feeling in the UK. I think there's a huge level of excitement. I mean, she's a superstar.
Okay, speaking of excitement, I'm going to give you a little excitement. For all of you who feel a little Downton challenged over the last few months, here's just a couple of seconds to get you in the mood.
What am I sitting on?
A swivel chair.
Oh, another modern brainwave?
Not very modern. They were invented by Thomas Jefferson.
Why does every day involve a fight with an American?
I don't just love Sherlock, I love this, which makes your argument. I want to suggest that you are part of the reason for the. I'm serious, with the American fascination. You and Masterpiece are part of the American fascination. Well, you were the woman behind Masterpiece.
Yes.
I mean, is that not? That's a fair compliment.
I think we have kept the Union Jack flying. Masterpiece is 45 years old and was the only place you could see British drama on television back in 1971, and it still is. It has a huge audience. So Anglophilia is alive and well. We should find a different word because it's such an ugly word and it sounds really nasty, but it is a perfectly normal affliction that people can have. And why? Why do people love all things British?
Why?
My theory is that there is a certain order in the way the British live that does not exist in this country. We are always looking to the future. Just get out of our way. We're going west. We tear it down. We build something new. The British, arguably, are kind of looking back, if I may say.
Well, we'll hear in a second.
And preserve and keep things quite organized.
What do you disagree with, Consul?
Well, I think this is a really interesting point. Going back to Prince Harry, he's a really good example of somebody who's looking to the future. For example, as a prince, he's done work with mental health charities, which really is future-looking. You know, he's not embarrassed to talk about these issues, and that is a real break with the past. So, and I think that's the other thing about the royal family. They reinvent themselves, and they do move forward. So although we're anchored in the past, I think our vision is absolutely in the future.
Yes, I mean, and Harriet, of course, works for the Queen. The Queen is her boss. And I don't mean the individuals in the royal family. I mean as a culture revering your past, whereas we get away from it as fast as we can because we have so much to do. So there is a certain respite, I suppose you could say, in watching British period dramas where things seem to be calm, justice is served, the guy gets the girl, wrongs are righted, and then you go to bed.
Let me just tell you, truth be told, I'm a little bit closer than I was before. Consul General, it's great to see you. Thanks for being here. Rebecca, it's great to see you as always. Thanks so much.